Chapter -30.03, The Fairy Game, still written by Frank in blue ink. Minnow and Sky were still writing madly, trying hard to finish the time virus. Ben and I kept programming tag and writing new code. We wanted to add into the game everything we could remember from our adventures away. It was so much fun doing the drawings for the Noesis and the dragons on the island of Honolulu. Plus, we coded in Captain Stella and her time fairies. Now they can swoop in and rescue characters as soon as a player has built up enough points. Plus, we were getting ready for Christmas, putting up decorations, dreaming up gifts, and helping to make special treats like chocolate truffles and white Christmas. But for all that, we were still feeling a bit down. So one day at school, we tried to cheer ourselves up by playing some games with the little kids. We pretended that the garden near the clock tower was a kingdom guarded by fairies, and we told the little children that they could be the fairies. We gave them all names and let them invent magic spells and make crazy potions from grass and dirt and the petals of flowers. The little ones loved it, and I couldn't help thinking of Six and Jem when we told them to use their imagination. One little girl said, "But I think I might have too much imagination. I can't stop thinking about stories and making them up, and I can hear the voices of all the characters." Her large brown eyes looked so worried as she stared up at us. "Don't be silly," said Sky. "You can never have too much imagination because that's where all magic is born and where every idea comes from in the entire universe." I nodded. "Plus, nothing has ever happened without being an idea first, so your imagination is the best. It will take you to places beyond your wildest dreams." "I'm going to imagine a really good future," said the little girl, looking pleased. She seemed so wise and calm. I remembered Angel telling us that small children are the best teachers ever. We were just starting a new phase of the game when there was a big noise and one of the little kids started crying. I looked over to see Toby's face crumpling into a terrible shape as he wept. In our first book, Toby was picked on by Isla and the Blesso bullies. We'd become his close friends after Isla tried to give him detention. That morning, Toby and his friends had been building a castle for the Fairy Queen out of sticks and flowers, but one of the Blesso boys had just stomped his big foot into the middle of it, smashing the castle to pieces. "You're the little git who always gets me into trouble," said Bug-Eye. Toby was shivering with fear. "I got detention last time you dobbed on me." Toby shook his head. I didn't say anything, I promise," he said. But Bug-Eye had him by the collar and Basher was smirking. "You're a dobber," he said. Basher was standing over Toby when Sky and I intervened. "Hold on," said Sky. "Toby's in prep and you two are grade 6. Bit of a mismatch, don't you think?" The Blesso boys sneered at Sky. "Come on," I said. "Let it go." Basher drew his fist back as if he planned to punch me. I stepped back and then I'm not sure what happened, but I think some of the magic of Mareskimar had returned with me. I suddenly bobbed down, and as Basher swung a punch, he lost his balance, fell over and landed on the ground. When Bug-Eye let go of Toby's collar, the little boy toppled to the ground as well. Finally, Bug-Eye tripped over and fell on top of Toby. I leapt up and was about to help the little boy when Sky raced in to rescue him. All the little ones had drawn back and were cowering with Minnow and Ben by the sandstone wall of the clock tower. They looked terrified. At that moment, Professor Triggs came around the corner. With the Blesso boys on the ground and Bug-Eye almost squashing Toby, it wasn't a good look. We all stood up except for Toby, who lay on the ground sobbing. I could see that he felt humiliated. "What's going on here?" asked Professor Triggs. "This idiot tripped me up," said Bug-Eye. Said Professor Triggs. "Basher, do you have anything to add?" "He deliberately tried to make us fall over," said Basher, "but he ended up on the ground himself. Serves him right." I felt myself seething, but I knew better than to say anything. The Blesso boys always seemed to get their way. Sky put up her hand. Professor Triggs looked at her sternly and said, "I'll get to you in a moment." Skye looked worried and put her hands behind her back. "So that's your story," said Professor Triggs to the Blesso boys. "And you're sure it's correct?" "Yeah," said both boys in unison. "He's the problem," added Bug-Eye. "Toby Minters. He's had it in for me for ages. Even told his father lies about me." "I see," said Professor Triggs, looking at Toby with a blank stare. "Well, we don't like lies, do we?" "No way," said Basher. "And he's a liar, that one." Basher smirked at Toby and I felt my heart sink. Maybe Professor Triggs was an imposter after all. Maybe she was a wolf disguised as a lamb. She'd been really nice right up until that point, so I felt confused. We all did, especially poor little Toby.